When Lisa Nichols asked me to share my story in Unbreakable Spirit, at first I was a little reticent. I said, Lisa, enough has been written about these kinds of stories, violence and so forth. I said, I don't know. She said, no, Millicent, you really must tell your story. And so with a little help and support, I did. And it was very, very liberating. You know, the truth is strangely liberating. And it said that it'll set you free, but I say that nobody said it would be pretty. Now, my story is entitled, Right Where I Needed to Be. And I found that when I got to prison, I was right where I needed to be. And that's sort of a strange thing to say, but it was true. I was right where I needed to be, and I needed to have that time to confront myself and all of the choices and the decisions that I made that led up to that fateful night and that led me to prison. And that's what the whole experience is really about. It's about owning my life. I understand now that I am a powerful creator. And of course I'm a creator, I'm a mother and a life giver, but also a destroyer, in that I've taken a life. And so I had to spend time in prison in the way that I was required to and had to take responsibility for that. It didn't matter about what led up to that. I think that we've lost a reverence for life, the sacredness of life. And I understand that it didn't matter what happened. I couldn't blame the judge, the jury, the DA, that evidence was ruled inadmissible, his family, or even him. It didn't matter. What mattered was I had to take responsibility. What was my part in all the things that had happened? And that's what life's all about. It's about owning our stuff and realizing that, hey, I have the starring role in this movie here called The Life of Millicent. What's happening? What choices am I making? What are the outcomes that I'm experiencing, good or otherwise? And if I don't like it, I can choose something different. Well, when I got there, I was in a group, and one of the facilitators said in a meeting afterwards, she said to all of us, she said, just remember, your best thinking got you here. And that hit me like a ton of bricks, because I realized that my best thinking had led me to prison. Wow. So I surrendered. I let go of everything that I had known before because it was a mess. It was all simply ridiculous. And it was time for me to reconstruct my thinking and my life. I spent my time in the library reading and praying and meditating and forgiving myself. And that was a very significant and important time for me. Some people call that time the dark night of the soul. Maybe that was it for me. But I had my awakening during that time frame. And I get that the gift of choice, of free will, is a very powerful thing. And I had to look at what was I creating or choosing and doing with mine. Most of it was pretty ridiculous. So now I've learned to clean that up. And I've moved on to something better for myself. And that's the work that I do now. I teach people how to let it go and move on. And you know, it's easy to say let it go and move on, but people need some help rewiring the brain, reprogramming all that negative thinking, because we've internalized it and we over-identify with it, and it's become a part of our culture. We live in a culture of negativity. So we have to undo lots of things, and people need a process to help them let it go so that they can move on to their higher good where they belong. And that's what I've done. I realized that the past, last year, 5 years, even 5 minutes ago, it's gone. And the power is only in this present moment. And the choices that I'm making right here and right now. So my goal is to teach people how to let it go and to move on as unique, one-of-a-kind miracles of the universe. And to work on emotional self-management. That's what we need. And ultimately, self-mastery. Yeah. It's all a mind thing. Self-management and self-mastery. That's the name of this game, and that's the work that I do with the Ligmo Institute.